What's up, everybody? In this video, we're going to go over some trades that we took in my Discord room so far this week. We're also going to go over some trades that I took along with some market context. We're also going to go over how to trade by gauging market participation and how to identify if shorts will cover and if it's going to lead to a further move higher or if it's going to fail and the market's going to come back down. So this is going to be a very good video. Be sure to stick around. Let's try and break 647 likes on it. I would really appreciate it. And if you want a very good trading resource, I'm going to link my Instagram in the description below. I post daily trading recaps on here, along with very good trading tips and tricks. You're definitely missing out if you aren't following it. Link in the description below. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. To get more context, let's go over the pre-market plan on Monday for the S&P 500. We were making another all-time high. It was a fresh week. And we put in a high at 4240 and we had supply at 4232 that once we stay below and reject, it's either going to balance or it's going to sell. Ideally, we would want a sell scenario because we could capitalize on puts. We also did not have any demand until 4197, and confluent with Tuesday to Thursday's action, which had a bunch of imbalances that are key to hold at 4172 and 4162. Then we have to keep in mind, if you've seen my last recap video, that we had a very strong buyer at 4220 on Friday, and we wanted those buyers to defend and hold that area today. If we got below it, we would most likely sell off into the next support or the next demand zone. And as always, I will update an intraday commentary tab of my thought process and what I'm seeing. So it's very important for you to develop context not only before the markets open, which is what I do in the pre-market plan and send it out to the members, but it's also important to develop context during the day and understand the participation between buyers and sellers so you can formulate a solid thesis and a solid plan that's backing every single trade you put on. So now let's go into a 5-minute chart. Now that we have those imbalances in mind, we were rejecting it overnight. We had the high that was put in, and before the market opened, if you look, we tagged this supply zone pretty perfectly at 4232. Let's ignore this supply because it technically did not form yet. So right at the open, we had to be bearish as we sold off, as we rejected supply, and as we were putting a regular head and shoulders pattern. So if I go to a 30-minute chart, you're going to see right here, it's very clear that we have a left shoulder that's put in. We have a head, and now we're just waiting for that right shoulder, and we got it validated by the sell-off and by the rejection at the 4232.5 supply zone. So if you trade the futures outright, beautiful short off of that. If you do trade options, you would have to wait for the market to open and generate more information there. So if we go to a 1-minute chart, the first 5 minutes sold off. I like to let the market develop. As I always say, the more time it develops, the more context clues that we can build out of what the market's generating us. So on Friday, I'm trying to pull up the Intraday Commentary tab here. We had, if you see in the last video, we had a very strong seller sitting on the offer. And 2 minutes later, someone completely wiped it out, showed very aggressive size at 4220, 500 lots, 200 lots, and these, 300 lots. So very, very heavy size. So it's safe to say that we had a very aggressive buyer in the market because they removed liquidity from the offer from a passive seller. This was at the 4220 zone. So we could just mark this out temporarily, just like this. Market sold off. Even though we were short bias, we really couldn't add to a short position because we did have these buyers priced in here. I was telling everybody to be extremely, extremely patient and wait for the market to develop. Right now, you have participants basically fighting out. Think of it as a tug-of-war battle. Right now, you have sellers fighting to bring it lower, and you have buyers fighting to bring it higher. So let them fight it, and you play on the same side as them. It really comes down, I say this to members all the time, to effort versus reward. If you are a seller, let's just say you shorted over here at the lows, are you getting rewarded if we're not moving down, so you're not getting rewarded? And are you showing any aggressive effort to bring us lower? No. Same thing on the flip side to the buy side. If you're a buyer down here, are you showing any effort to the long side? No. Are you also showing any effort to really, on the sell side, to hold us or to bring us any lower? So my first trade came on this. It was kind of a scratch trade. My analysis was correct, but you all know, if you've been following me, I like fading the opposition when everybody's doing something, or I figure out where others are stopping out and I take a trade accordingly. So I knew in the first 5 minutes everybody was on the put side, which I was as well. I was extremely bearish from the context that I just explained. But I knew everybody was short, and I knew they were going to get frustrated. So when they get frustrated, they stop out. Majority of traders that were short down here, their stop is either going to be above this high, maybe at VWAP. So I had that in mind, and I saw a very quick, sudden move up, and I actually shorted this rally. Was not too much of a killer trade. I only made about 5 cents on it, so it was kind of a scratch trade. But as soon as we moved up and came down, I took it short. I was expecting, a sell-off past that 4220 level, but again, those buyers kind of defended it as we moved down into it. But I knew that premiums were going to be inflated because of volatility. Everybody sees this quick, sudden move like this, especially holding the 4220 level, and they think the market's going to start shooting up to the upside. But the context behind it really was not to the long side. And with majority of equities as well, I was saying to hold off on the long side. Context is very bearish. Now at this time, stocks like Apple, stocks like Tesla, market leading stocks were selling off, and we validated this because of the market selling off as well. And NASDAQ, if you pull up the NASDAQ chart, not showing any bids either. So very weak market. Then we started chopping around in this area, and the same exact thing happened here. So the one thing I do want to mention is, let me add these price levels back. So we did formulate from this drop in the morning. Like I said, this did formulate a valid area of supply that we had overnight, that this drop validated sellers being present in the market. So at this quick push, just like we saw earlier, we had buyers thinking this thing was going to reverse, especially that we are above this high. And when you have traders that are short down here putting their stop above a high, especially right near a supply zone and especially above VWAP, it's a perfect recipe for a reversal. We reject the supply zone and we start moving down. And this is where I played SPY puts. The more times a stock tests a level, usually the stronger it becomes. And you could also look at it, the weaker it becomes as well, depending on its context. So I took the market short at 1026 right here. A little bit of a chase. I would have liked an entry above here. However, I was focusing on the NASDAQ, trying to read that a little properly, and I got a little late of an entry. I'm not going to complain about it because we did get that sell-off, and I love seeing this volume over here. And this really did not have any demand until, 4207 was a minor one, and from the plan 4197. So we sold off. I saw heavy volume, and also this is where I scaled out. It was a beautiful scale. So this was at VWAP from Friday's action. Usually when price bounces off it perfectly, you want that area to act as support. So this was essentially a support level at 4216. I was looking at any good valid area, since I was scalping this, for the market to stall out and for me to scale out. As soon as we moved down into it and price was consolidating at the lows, I stopped out at the quick little bit higher. I wish I could have got a little better of a fill, but I made, I think it was 75% on this trade, so pretty good. I wish I could have got a little more. However, the market did reverse. My analysis was correct, and at this point the market starts grinding higher. Guess what happens? We break the high, we fail. Break this high, we fail. We are inside of a supply zone. If you want to draw a box and you are a visual trader, it would look like this. You could extend it forward. You can make it pink if you'd like. I like lowering the transparency so you can see the candles behind it. And we can make it at 427.75. So now we come back into this. We reject it and the market starts selling off. Beautiful volume. And this is at the same time that Biden is talking about the economy. And the market started selling off. We had the 4216, did not have any demand lower, so we did reject supply. I know members did take it short up here. I unfortunately missed it. Then we start selling off and continuously sell down into the next demand. Very aggressive, heavy volume. That's what happens when we come below. We have number one, very strong sellers. Number 2, very weak buyers. And number 3, don't have any demand until a little lower. So you come into demand just like the market on NQ, just like majority of equities rejecting VWAP, did not have any buyers, did not have any bids, no reason to long the market, even though we're coming into demand. And we had a beautiful sell-off from that supply imbalance. So this is the type of analysis that needs to be done. Also, we created demand in this area, the 4220, 4221 that we wanted to hold. So that was also the third point that the market was going to sell off. I did not really do this analysis. The third reason, as the market was developing. But looking back at it, these buyers here failed to hold and the market started selling off. So that was your third confirmation signal to get short. Beautiful sell-off. This is the type of analysis that you need to do. You need to do it on a blink of an eye. You need to be flexible. You need to understand the context of the market. Context is king. Any contextual trader will survive in any market. It helps me know when to strike. It helps me know when to stay away. And I'm very confident in my setups when I could strongly read the market. And today on Tuesday, our pre-market plan for the S&P, we were expecting some volatility and some range because of the overnight session. So if I pull this up, overnight we had an aggressive, I want to call 60, 70 point sell-off, consistently making lower lows, consistently making lower highs. And from the action we saw yesterday, we wanted to see some type of continuation as we did have a lot of shorts and a lot of sellers present in the market. So keeping that in mind, we were selling off going into the open. We did have demand that we were selling off breaking below. Very, very weak buyers. So I was not interested in taking long. We must hold the 4125 to 4110 demand zone. Below this, gates are open to demand a little lower. We also had supply at the upside at 4151, 4166 that we want any rally to get shut off by responsive sellers. So I said it's going to be very important to follow me today in the Intraday Commentary tab where I'm going to basically go over my whole thought process. But essentially what I was really thinking as the market was opening up, if I pull up a 1-minute chart, like I always mention, I always like to put myself in the participants of the market. We were aggressively selling off overnight. And you have to imagine from yesterday's action and the overnight action, there were shorts built into the market capitalizing on the downside move. So now that we have that in mind, we have to keep that in the back of our head and realize that if we are at demand, it has a good shot of bouncing because this could be an area where shorts do cover. So the market sold off. Technically, shorts are buyers because for them to close out their position, they have to cover. So that's essentially what I saw in the morning. And this was at the same time the NASDAQ was rallying as well. NASDAQ was very strong compared to the S&P, consistently making higher highs, consistent higher lows as well. But in the first 30 minutes of the market open, I saw this as a buyers and sellers basically fighting it out. I needed more context to it. Really couldn't get a clear picture. And I didn't want to chase the upside move because if there are no new buying on a short covering rally, the market is going to crash. And a perfect recipe for that is at supply. So we really needed to see new buying. We did not get it. We came into our 4151 supply zone from the pre-market plan and we started moving down. Now a valid entry for this would have been the head and shoulders pattern that we saw here. Left shoulder ahead at supply. If you did not short at supply, a break below this support would have been valid, targeting the demand down here and, maybe targeting the support at 4110. So two little ways you could play that. You could have capitalized on this break over here at 4142 when we saw some aggressive buying coming through around 4142, 4145. Could have got a quick 6-point scalp at supply, but the risk to reward there really wasn't favorable, so I did not take that trade. We did see a very passive buyer at 4130 in the morning. Could have looked at it now that we saw that rally as some type of algorithmic activity. But we did sell off and we came right into that 4110 support. And then look what happened. We cracked below it. And this is where everybody chases. If you chase on the downside move, you're skewing your risk to reward. You're buying at a low at daybreak, especially at a very important area. This was a bottom of a very key demand zone. It was a very balanced period. Then the market started rallying and we kind of moved up into the afternoon session. Really weren't any trades. This is a complete balance for me. If you were to put this on a vertical axis, price would be contained in a very, 40-point move, very fast in the first hour and a half. However, after that, the low was never taken out, the high was never taken out, and we were very balanced. Eventually came into the 4151. We were watching a double top, got that, bounced at demand again, and it was kind of a sticky day, kind of back and forth. Really nothing to it if you didn't capitalize on that short in the morning or took it long, but in my opinion was a little more risky at the 4110 due to the sentiment. But equities followed. They held pretty strong. Tesla bounced off of demand. Netflix also, Amazon, a lot of things moved off of demand after gapping down. NASDAQ very strong. So pretty good day. And the past 2 days have been very good. And I appreciate all the members who send me messages like this and the ones who use their own context and take really sick trades and make very good profits off of the analysis in the Discord. So I don't know if you want to take a second, pause the video and read this, but I'm very grateful to be working with a very good team of members in the Discord. So here are some profits. I guess everybody's loving the SPY analysis and trading off of SPY and QQQ. In my opinion, it's probably one of the easiest markets to master, with a bunch of screen time, with a bunch of experience, and supply and demand works very, very well with it. But some very good member messages. Also, this was from yesterday, 95% return, 110% return. These contracts move fast. In my opinion, I recommend them for small accounts. But I think that's really it on this video. I appreciate all you that watch my videos. I appreciate all you members that are in the Discord. Besides that, be sure to drop a like, follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my channel. If you really want to learn more, be sure to check out my website. I do offer a very in-depth course, which also comes with access to the Discord. Peace out.